Oh man, maybe the Civil War rhetoric has been too extreme, and I acknowledged in every video I've done about it, maybe I'm, contributing to the problem. I think that's absolutely fair. I try to self-reflect when I do these videos. But we just heard an update on this story. I'm gonna start with the beginning. Campaign fundraising site suspends Republican accounts in effort to reject Trumpism. It's from May 15th, right? So this is not a news story, but there is an update here. So, a crowdfunding site for political campaigns has suspended all of its accounts for Republican candidates, saying the values of President Trump and the GOP are not in line with the company's own values. Acting CrowdPAC CEO Jesse Thomas said in a Medium post Tuesday that the CrowdPAC community and users share values that Trumpism does not, and the company will reject Trumpism moving forward. Because Trumpism is so heavily linked with the modern National Republican Party, and because very few federal leaders in the Republican Party have meaningfully rejected Trumpism, we are temporarily suspending fundraising for Republican candidates on CrowdPAC.com, he wrote. This decision has been a hard one for our company, but as Trumpism has spread through the Republican Party, we've started to see an increase in campaigns for Republican candidates that we cannot allow on our platform. Is there censorship in Silicon Valley? The answer is, of course there is. Honestly, look, there's a debate as to whether or not it's worse for the right or worse for the left. Most people, I think, on the right are going to say the right, and most people on the left are going to say the left. In my opinion, there is a lot of censorship of the left, hands down. It's true. And there is a lot of censorship of the right, also true. In my personal opinion, I think more right-wing ideologies are suspended and taken down than left. For instance, you can go on Twitter and see tons of communist stars, calls for, the killing of white people and things like that. Twitter tends to ignore these. There still is the same racism towards other minorities, saying kill, one particular group or the other. But typically these get purged very quickly. Now, Facebook's different. Facebook will ban you if you say something like kill white people or something to that effect. So it's not entirely uniform across Silicon Valley. We did see what happened with James Damore. We know that Google has been accused of these things. Google's been accused of being racist against Asian people. They've been accused of, in the hiring practices, specifically saying, not to hire white or Asians, right? So we know that there is some kind of political, whatever we'll call it. It's not just censorship. There's more going on. Just heavy partisanship. It's restrictive. And now we're seeing CrowdPAC, which is this, it's a website for, actually maybe there's I don't think they have a link to it. CrowdPAC is a site where it's kind of like Kickstarter, but for politics. So it says CrowdPAC offers a chance for a variety of political campaigns to fundraise on the site, including candidates running for local office, and former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, Republican, pushed to make gerrymandering unconstitutional. We hope that making this move will help our users feel confident that their activity on our platform is a rejection, not an endorsement of Trumpism. This is a site that's supposed to allow people to campaign, okay? So what's going to stop someone from campaigning as a Democrat but then just have all of the talking points of a Republican? It's absolutely ridiculous that they're doing this, and this was in May. Here's the update. From Gateway Pundit, pro-Trump candidate challenging Dem who has called conservative censorship a hoax was purged from political crowdfunding platform. Pro-Trump millennial, Naomi Levin is challenging New York congressman who recently called the censorship of conservatives online a hoax, which is ironic as she herself was purged from a political crowdfunding website for being Republican. This is from a couple days ago. Levin is challenging Rep. Jared Nadler in New York's 10th Congressional District, a man who has recently berated Diamond and Silk while claiming that social media censorship of the right doesn't exist. And then there's whatever this is, sorry, this video does not exist. Looks like we hit a censorship bump. In a May email to Levin provided to the Gateway Pundit, crowdfunding website CrowdPAC wrote that because your campaign features a Republican candidate as a recipient, it will be suspended in 10 days' time. The CrowdPAC email claimed that over the past few months, we've struggled as a business with the decision of whether or not to remain an open platform to all candidates in the wake of the rise of Trumpism, an ideology that runs counter to the values of the community. Ultimately, the website determined that the best course of action was to align our platform with the values of our community and take a stand against Trumpism. Have you guys seen the episode of South Park where I think it's Stan doesn't want to vote, and it's like the school mascot is a giant douche and a turd sandwich? And he's like, why would I want to vote between the giant douche and the turd sandwich? And they're like, because you need to vote, it's your civic duty. And then finally, when Kyle convinces him to vote, he votes against Kyle's interests, so Kyle gets all pissed off, like, what? Don't vote against me, then don't vote. Right, because when people want you to fundraise, when people want you to vote, what they're really saying is give me money, vote for me. They're not actually saying, hey man, voice your opinion and vote your conscience. No, they're saying, hey man, I think if you'll vote my guy in. And that's exactly what CrowdPAC is. CrowdPAC is a heavily partisan site. So partisan, in fact, that they have banned Republicans. That's just crazy. Look, I don't agree with like 99.9% of Republicans. There are certainly things among the Republican, set of talking points that I think are just fine. But for the most part, it's not really where my politics lie. If you watch my channel, you watch my videos, you know that I'm center-left libertarian, pretty down there, close to, a little bit south of Bernie Sanders in the libertarian spectrum. I don't like socialism. I think, I like Scandinavia and like social democracy. But Bernie is a little left of me in terms of like distribution of wealth. But I'm a pretty lefty kind of dude when it comes to regulation, policy, and government, things like that. I don't want to see Republicans banned. I want to see a robust debate about how to move our country forward. Banning Republicans doesn't solve any problems. Look, you want to put yourself in a bubble and hyper-focus on one path? Eventually, you're going to fall off a cliff and die because you're not paying attention. There's something about this, about politics in which the right and the left kind of play tug of war with each other. And we gradually become freer and more accepting over time. The right has to keep the left in check. The left has to push back against the, tradition. Not all tradition is bad, but we do need to figure out how to improve our society to grant rights to people and these things. So there are a lot of great things with the left, and we need honest, real Republican candidates to present ideas that challenge the left so the left can become stronger, so the right can become stronger. Together we can weed out the bad ideas and find out what really works for all of us. What half this country is Republican, half this country is, it's always really split close to the middle, at least in the past decade or so. Why would you want to just erase 60 plus million voters, from the last election because you don't like their politics? You are essentially it's almost like book burning, right? It's a little extreme, but it's similar in the sense that you're just destroying ideas. You're plugging your ears. That's not going to change anything. Oh, you're going to get mad because someone else wins? Too bad. Grow up. What I think is going to happen is, if the pendulum swings back in favor of the Democrats, they're going to get complacent, and I think that's why we have Republicans dominating so much in government right now. Why Trump won, because the left was chilling on Obama for 8 years, and then they got, hey man, everything's good. What do I got to do? Hillary's going to win. She's got it in the bag. Everyone thought Hillary was going to win, and then boom, Trump wins. You need to have a healthy debate between different factions. So they said your data, funds, and compliance information will still be available via Democracy Engine, and you will still be able to log into your CrowdPAC dashboard to retrieve any information you require. Levin responded that she had been using CrowdPAC since she launched her campaign for Congress in New York, and that their decision goes against what they claimed their mission of the website was. She said, submitted a letter. I'm not going to read it, but there's a quote from it. I'm frankly surprised and disappointed that my campaign will be so abruptly removed from your platform. Your organization professes to promote diversity and seeks to encourage the democratic process. And yet my campaign was discriminately removed, irrespective of my individual ideas, for merely being associated with the Republican Party. Levin's response, provided to the Gateway Pundit, stated. She said, as a young woman and a millennial, I saw CrowdPAC as a platform that would allow my peers to support my campaign through online contributions. Unfortunately, without even familiarizing themselves with my positions on issues, CrowdPAC removed my account from the platform merely because of my affiliation with the Republican Party, she told the Gateway Pundit. Going back to the beginning, I talked about the Civil War. Yeah, I think, a lot of people have said, look, we always have these divides, we always have these conflicts. It's true. It's true. I think the rhetoric might be for the sake of rhetoric. A lot of people are talking about this simply because other people are talking about it, and it's kind of becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. But I can say, regardless of this rhetoric, the culture war is insane. To the point where, in my last video, you get a journalist claiming that a guy who hates the alt-right is linked to the alt-right, that Jordan Peterson's fans are alt-right, even though he criticizes them all the time and doesn't like them. And then you see a startup that raises money for candidates, for political campaigns, just saying, you know what, no Republicans. We're done. What's the goal? They want to purge everyone. What do you think would happen if these people got in power? Any one of these people running this website, any one of these people who are, these people on the left who support the decision of CrowdPAC, who are fundraising on CrowdPAC.com, what do you think would happen if they got in power? They'd say, we shouldn't allow Trumpism in our elections. Right, it's a little hyperbolic. Maybe they wouldn't. But when I see people flat out say, you know what, I'm not going to allow you to raise money to campaign, what's the difference? They're effectively shutting the door on an entire group of people because of politics. And that's what dictators do. That's what an authoritarian government does. It says one party, one rule. It's, you know, in Egypt, it guns down one of the political parties. This is what we see. When you end up with an authoritarian regime, they will shut down a political party and say your ideas are no longer welcome. And CrowdPAC has done that. But I guess, you know what? It is what it is. This is America. They can do what they want. Maybe. I know some people have said they're going to file a Federal Elections Commission complaint against CrowdPAC because I'm not entirely sure what the legality is of setting up a platform to allow fundraising, but then booting off people based on their politics. It might be legal. I mean, if you went out and with a coffee can raising money for politicians, they can't force you to raise money for Republicans, I'm assuming. But I don't know. I could be wrong. You guys can comment below. Let me know what you think. I might have another video up, or I might do a late night live stream around 9 p.m. because I got live streaming back on my main channel. Woo! I'll see you guys probably on the live stream. I don't know. I think this might be my last video on my second channel, but stay tuned. YouTube.com/timcast/live. Maybe around 9 or 10 p.m. I'll tweet it out.